There are moments when faith feels like walking on water, fragile, impossible, and yet utterly necessary. Moments when the waves of life rise higher than our courage, and the winds of fear scream louder than the whisper of God's voice. In those moments, doubt doesn't just shake our hearts, it threatens to drown us. The story of Peter on the sea is not just a story about a storm. It is a story of every soul that has dared to believe and then faltered, of every heart that has taken a step toward the impossible and then been pulled under by fear. Faith is not built on calm waters. It is forged in the chaos, when everything around us is sink, but something within us still whispers walk. And this night, on the Sea of Galilee, one man would discover what it truly means to believe beyond what eyes can see. The winds howled, the sky bled with the color of midnight, and the disciples strained against the waves. They were men of the sea, yet this storm was unlike any they had known. The waters rose like mountains. The air hissed with the fury of unseen power. And amid the thunder and crashing waves came a figure walking across the water. The night was heavy with wind. The disciples' small boat rose and fell on waves that crashed like thunder. Each man clung to the worn wood. Their hands blistered, their faces stung by the salt and rain. They had been here before. Storms were not new to them, but this night felt different. The sea seemed alive, as if anger itself had taken form in the waves. The torches had long been extinguished. Darkness swallowed everything. Even the stars had hidden. Every flash of lightning revealed faces twisted with fear, the faces of men who had seen death before, but never like this. "Row!" one of them shouted. "Row harder." The oars groaned under their strength, yet the boat barely moved. Water poured in faster than they could throw it out. Peter, his heart pounding, shouted above the storm, "Where is he?" But the wind answered with a howl. They left the shore hours ago under clear skies, obeying Jesus' command to cross the lake. Now they wondered if obedience had led them into destruction. Fear crept in, not the fear of dying, but the fear of being forgotten. Then, through the roar of the storm, something moved on the water. At first, they thought it was a wave, tall and shifting in the darkness. But then the lightning struck again, and they saw a figure, a man walking upon the sea. Their cries filled the air. "It's a ghost!" one shouted. Their fear became terror. The sea that had always obeyed no man was now carrying someone upon it. And then a voice, not loud, not thunderous, but steady, calm, and unmistakable. "Take courage. It is I. Do not be afraid." The storm didn't stop, not yet, but something shifted inside them. Amid the chaos, there was now a stillness that did not belong to the wind or the waves. The waves still crashed, the wind still roared, but something had shifted. The fear that once chained Peter's heart began to tremble before a greater presence. He leaned over the side of the boat, eyes straining through the rain, searching for the face that had just spoken. "Lord, if it's really you, tell me to come to you on the water." The others stared at him in disbelief. Lightning flashed, revealing their faces, a mixture of fear and awe. The sea raged, but Peter's voice rose above it. He didn't ask for the storm to stop. He asked for permission to walk into it. And Jesus said, "Come." For a moment, time itself seemed to hold its breath. Peter gripped the edge of the boat, his heart pounding like a drum in his chest. He lifted one leg over the side. The wind almost knocked him back. His foot touched the water and did not sink. His breath caught. The impossible was real. He took another step, then another. The sea that had always swallowed men now held him up. Each step was a miracle, each movement a defiance of fear. The boat faded behind him as the thunder rolled and the rain fell. Yet his eyes stayed fixed on Jesus. The sound of the storm grew distant. The wind still screamed, but it no longer controlled him. In that moment, there was only faith, fragile, trembling, yet powerful enough to walk upon the waves. The rain fell harder. Lightning split the sky, illuminating the waves that rose like mountains around him. Peter's heart pounded as he took another step. And another. The impossible continued. He was walking on the water. Then, for a moment, his eyes shifted. The wind howled, stronger now. The waves seemed to roar his name. His focus faltered. He looked not at Jesus, but at the storm. And in that instant, faith turned into fear. The water beneath him trembled. His feet, once steady, began to sink, first his ankles, then his knees. The sea, relentless and cold, pulled him down. He gasped as salt water filled his mouth. Panic surged through his chest. "Lord, save me!" he cried, his voice breaking between the thunder and the waves. Immediately, not a second later, a hand reached through the storm. Strong, steady, sure. Jesus caught him. The wind did not stop. The storm still raged. But in that moment, Peter was held. His fear met the hand of grace. Jesus' voice came, quiet but piercing through the roar. "Oh, you of little faith, why did you doubt?" It wasn't a rebuke. It was a revelation. In those words, Peter saw himself. The storm was never his enemy. It was his teacher. As Jesus lifted him back up, the water once again held beneath their feet. Together, they walked toward the boat. The storm still raged as Jesus and Peter walked together toward the boat. Each step was steady, as if the sea itself now bowed before the one who had created it. Lightning flashed, revealing the astonished faces of the disciples inside. Men who had witnessed miracles before, but never one that felt this close to the edge between life and death. Peter gasped for breath, clinging to Jesus' arm, still trembling from the terror of almost drowning. Yet even as the rain poured down, something inside him had changed. He had learned that faith was not the absence of fear. It was a courage to keep walking even when fear screamed louder. As they climbed into the boat, Jesus' foot touched the wooden planks, and at once, the wind stopped. No warning, no slow fade. The sea went silent. The waves fell flat like glass beneath the moonlight breaking through the clouds. The storm that threatened to devour them bowed into stillness. The disciples could only stare, their clothes soaked, their hearts pounding, but their fear was gone. Awe took its place, and one by one they knelt before him. The same men who had once doubted whispered words that trembled with reverence. "Truly, you are the Son of God." The air was still. The stars began to appear again, and in the quiet, the lesson remained that even when faith falters, grace does not. Morning came slowly over the Sea of Galilee. The first rays of sunlight touched the calm surface of the water, the same water that only hours before had threatened to swallow them whole. The storm was gone, but its memory lingered in the hearts of those who had faced it. Peter sat quietly at the edge of the boat, his clothes heavy, his hair still damp from the rain. The others spoke in hushed voices behind him, yet he heard none of it. His eyes were fixed on the horizon where light met the sea. He replayed every moment, the call, the step, the fear, the hand that saved him. His heart swelled with both shame and gratitude. He had believed and doubted, and yet Jesus had never let him fall alone. The waves lapped softly against the boat, whispering a rhythm that seemed to echo his thoughts. Faith falters. Grace never does. Peter closed his eyes. The wind now felt gentle, no longer an enemy, but a reminder. He understood something he hadn't before, that faith is not measured by how long we stand, but by how quickly we reach for the one who saves us when we fall. As the sun rose higher, warming his face, Peter whispered prayer, not for courage, but for trust. Because courage might fail when the waves rise, but trust anchors the soul even when the sea rages. The storm had ended, but what was born in Peter that night, the understanding of faith through failure, would live forever. And somewhere beyond the calm waters, Jesus walked ahead, knowing that this fisherman, once afraid, would one day stand unshaken, not on water, but upon the rock of faith itself. The sea was calm now. The wind had gone still. And in that silence, the story of Peter and the storm became something greater than a memory. It became a mirror, because every heart has known that sea. Every soul has felt the pull between faith and fear, between the call to step out and the temptation to stay where it feels safe. Like Peter, we long to walk toward the voice of God, yet our eyes drift toward the waves. And still, he comes to us, not only when we stand strong, but when we sink, not only when our faith is perfect, but when our hearts cry out, "Lord, save me." And just as he did that night, he reaches through the storm again, not to shame us, but to lift us. Faith is not about never sinking. It is about knowing who will reach for you when you do. The story of Peter on the water is not the story of failure. It is the story of a man who dared to believe, even for a moment, that with Jesus, the impossible could hold him. And for all who walk through storms today, the message still echoes across the waves. When the wind rises, when doubt pulls you under, remember the hand that never lets go. For the one who calmed the sea still walks upon it, calling your name